Well, welcome to our local non-league, and of course joining us as usual, of course, and he's, I suppose you've got to say now, mate, and you're a living legend, Andy Leese, and I suppose one of the first things we've got to say is we're top of the league.
Yes, so I just gathered, when I went in there, Dave, obviously I haven't really looked, but the other results have obviously gone for us, and we've just taken care of our own business today in a very sort of emphatic way, as we have done all week, really.
I mean, we was upstairs doing the commentary, and a lot of people around us were like, we're turning around saying what a fantastic performance, one of the best I've seen, etc., etc. And we were trying to talk away and say who was man of the match today, but we had a list of about 5, maybe even 6 players that could have got it. But Marcus getting it, and I thought he was just superb today, man. Andre and your sort of little bit of work of moving them from left to right, it seemed to keep working.
Well, that wasn't deliberate. I think it was more a case of where they ended up after a corner routine, I think. But we've been working very hard on, getting the ball into wide areas, getting the ball in the box, and I was absolutely delighted with the first 2 goals because they came from, basically training ground routines that we worked hard on last week before, certainly on Thursday night, but previous week as well. So absolutely delighted. Marcus involved in that, getting the ball in the box. And for Marcus, to be fair, it's been a change of position. He really came here as a wide forward, and we're probably turning him into a winger, and that's hard for him because he's been used to scoring a lot of goals. He can get a lot of joy in front of goal, but I tried to say to him before the game today, don't worry about the goals, they'll come. You just keep focusing on your performance, and he did today, didn't he? And I thought he was excellent. So was Andre. He's like it's like having a new signing again with Andre. He's come back from his break at Christmas, and he's looking tremendous as well. But all round today, Dave, what another complete all round performance like we had on Tuesday against Billericay, and good side Carshalton. They're well organised, they're well managed and coached, but I sort of said to them coming off, they've kind of run into us at our absolute best this season. So couldn't be more delighted, and top of the league is a fantastic feeling.
And Mr. Physio John made your work harder, getting all the people back fit and all on the pitch at the same time.
Well, he does, and we've had to leave people out again today, which is hard. But there's 1 or 2 tired legs, tired minds. Been a tough week. Long journey last Saturday for nothing. But Tuesday we were made to work extremely hard against Billericay, and I think you saw today, especially second half, Carshalton came out with a real intent, and they've ended up changing the shape towards the end of the game, and that caused us 1 or 2 problems. But they've come out and made us work extremely hard. There was a 15-minute spell where after half time where I could have changed anybody, to be fair, but we were just looking a little bit leggy in certain areas. But of course, then the third goal gives everybody a lift, and the adrenaline's going again, and we look like spring chickens again. So couldn't be more pleased with the week's work, really.
And he probably doesn't get as much praise as any of the others, but I mean, Adam Cunningham run himself into the ground today, and he was being hugged and pulled and clawed at almost all the way through the game, outstanding.
I've said privately this week that I think he's in the best physical shape he's been in for a long time. He hasn't got any of the niggles that he normally carries around with him. He's a problem with his lower back, and that's now gone. But you're absolutely right. And he's keeping Cass out the side, and he is the focal point for us. He attracts defenders. People think he's just there as a target for us all the time, but there's a lot more to his game than that. And I'll say it because it was said to us on Tuesday that Billericay said they thought that we beat them up. Well, Cons goes around beating up centre halves, and he's done it again today. He's beaten up centre halves today to the point where I think they end up shrinking away from him. And what he does, it just whether he's on the ball and setting it off and brings it in the game, but when he attracts centre halves like that and puts the work in that he does, and don't forget the pressing as well from the front. That he has to do. It's the only reason we took him off. We felt we needed to get after the ball a little bit. That they got settled and were playing a bit more from the back, but he attracts people to him, and he allows people to run off him, and couldn't be more pleased. He's and he's a massive influence around the squad and in the dressing room. You know, he's still brings the standards he had as a professional player into what we do here. So absolutely fantastic.
I think the one thing that always surprises us up there is the consistency from Mr. Consistency himself in Nathan McDonald. I mean, 300 plus games for Enfield now, and the presentation before the game, but every single goal kick, if Cass is on the pitch, he finds Cass. If Cunnington's on the pitch, he finds Cunns. It's just incredible.
Yeah, he's coming into his own, into his best, isn't he? You know, very experienced keeper. You know, you think where he's played at step 1 and step 2. You know, we have our moans and groans at times. You know, I'm still probably smarting about the Kingstonian free kick that went in here that I thought he did. But listen, you forget that when you see what he did on Tuesday night. He made a double save here just before half time that kept us, you know, in the lead, and he's done it today. And it's hard, you know, to keep concentration. He works. Kiri has come in, and I think has taken, you know, the work with Nathan to another level. But yeah, under pressure today, anything that was happening, you know, their corners were, their set plays were incredibly well delivered under the bar, you know, and he was dealing with absolutely everything. I can stand and say, well, that's what he's there for, that's what he's paid to do, but he's actually doing it to another standard at the moment. You know, he's got a consistent back four in front of him as well. We were disappointed to concede today. You know, our goals against column is really something to write home about at the moment, and that's been the big shift, big change this year. I think I've said it, Dave. You know, yes, we lost most goals out of the team, but we've spread goals around the team. But you know, defensively last year we conceded way too many. But this year we are very hard to play against and score against. So you know, Maka and the back four, huge part of that.
Well, a couple of the older fans up on the, and I hope they don't mind me calling them the older fans, but they're upstairs, and they were saying they're going to be starting a petition up at the next home game to send off to Margate to keep Lewis Knight.
Well, joking apart, that is a situation we've got to deal with. He's here till the 28th of February. I'll be talking to the chairman to try and, you know, we said we did that for a purpose, wanted to see where we were, but I think, you know, we can honestly say hand on heart we're in the mix, we're in contention for you know, the top spots. So yeah, we'd like to get it dealt with, Dave, sooner rather than later. Lewis wants that, obviously not being disrespectful to Margate, they've got to want to cooperate as well, but hopefully we can get that done, and we'll get it done sooner rather than later.
And the other one that for me as well today, that was, again, you don't often hear his name in the last few weeks, but Ches Isaacs was absolutely outstanding yet again.
I'm pleased you've said that. I mean, we signed him, and I you know, I think people thought, oh, here we go, just another midfield player coming in, but you know, we shuffled the squad around a bit. I mean, he's got an engine on him that fantastic. You know, what is he, 29, 30, Ches? You know, but long busting runs, but quality on the ball as well. Perfect combination in there with Scotty. I can't speak highly enough of him either. You know, he just goes about his business. You know, I don't know, so you wouldn't know he's out there, of course you would, but he just goes about his business in a very kind of unfussy you know, way, and the quality of his pass. I had a couple of balls the other night in Billericay. When you look at the game again, some of his passing is, you know, just superb. So absolutely delighted with Ches. You know, come in, he's a no nonsense player as well. He's low maintenance. I don't have any issues with him, you know. And yeah, you're right, Davey. He goes under the radar a little bit, doesn't he? But
and, I mean, you know, we could go for every single one of them today, because I thought every single one. Every single one of them was absolutely outstanding. We could be here till midnight. They'll turn the lights on.
I'm sure they made their own minds up. They don't need me to tell them.
You do that. You know, you have somebody like, you know, Cunns out there today, and Marcus and Andre out there today, and then you look at the bench, which was the first thing we looked at today, and said, look at that bench. That bench is unbelievable. When you start looking at the bench, and then, you know, we haven't mentioned him, but he comes on, and for me, like, he's just like an ordinary machine. He's just incredible. Jake Cass comes on, bang, bang, and before you know what's going on, he's got 2 goals and looking for a hat trick.
What a player! Yeah, been patient, come back. He knew he wouldn't get back in. I think wasn't unfit when he came back from his little sabbatical, but he was probably a bit rusty with the ball at his feet by his own admission. But fair play. I'm not surprised he stayed out. What he's done today, he stayed out with Maz, did some finishing on Thursday night. You know, works hard at his game. And yeah, absolute delight for him. You know, he's just a handful, isn't he? I mean, you bring Cunns off and throw Jake Cass on. You know, we're blessed. You know, with what we've got, we really are. And pleased for him today. They were good, composed finishes today, weren't they?
Yeah.
You know, And say he's got to work his way back into the starting 11. But there's so many games, Dave. There will be games where he'll play and Kunz won't, and that's inevitably going to happen. But yeah, really, really pleased for Jake today.
But I mean, it's one of those things, Andy, and it's 70, 80 minutes. The last thing you want to see is either a Cunnington or a Cass coming off the bench. Do you know what I mean? It's just like,
right,
you just sit there and just want to walk off the pitch if you're a centre half.
Yeah, you're right.
But listen, mate, a massive congratulations today. On to Tuesday night, but a massive congratulations to you. And it was, well, top of the league, so over the moon.
Yeah, thanks. The final word for the fans. I think today, we had a follow-on from Tuesday night with the noise again today. Well, the attendance as well, but the noise as well today. I think they know there's something happening here at the moment, and right from the first minute. And a bit of a personal thank you as well. There were some things that were out there amongst the crowd today that were sort of directed at me, which were incredibly generous and positive, and something I didn't expect. So big shout to the fans today, big shout out to supporters, top class.
And I'll finish that as well by saying upstairs, from some of the directors that were walking past me, turning around saying it's one of the best atmospheres they've seen at this ground today for a very, very long time.
Let's make sure it continues. Cheers, Dave.
Absolutely. Thanks, Andy.